spy, diplomat, under asylum, or simply an illegal alien. What is the Biden administration covering up, and why are they covering up for Harry? Let's explore this, shall we? This is just to show you that this is actually the picture that Meghan Markle wanted in the newspapers. This is the reason why Harry's standing all the way back, because the headline was supposed to be Meghan Markle and Princess Lily. Because yes, Meghan Markle wants the world to know that she's the mother to a princess of a colonialist family who's the most racist on earth, according to Meghan Markle, of course, right? So I just wanted to throw this in a little bit. And the person sitting in that yellow car is actually somebody that she asked to take the picture. But the person took the video, which is why the picture is so grainy, because it's a shot of a still. It's a still of the video. Delist, everything backfires. Now, welcome back to all of you who have been with me from the beginning. Welcome to the new subscribers, because I have so many more subscribers. Thanks, yay! You know, I decided to give a little bit of why I'm speaking on this platform, because I get those questions quite a lot. Why is this crazy woman talking about this royal family? By the way, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and buy the mug, buy a t-shirt. It goes all to the school. Why? Okay, I am Canadian. So Canada is part of the Commonwealth. The monarch's face, and not only that, not only part of the Commonwealth, it's a realm of the United Kingdom. The monarch's face is in our money, our currency. Number two, I worked as a diplomat, and I've handled and I work closely with many royal households. Not the British household, but they all fall under the same thing. So I'm very much, I know what I'm talking about when it comes down to diplomats and diplomatic immunity and the procedures of handling royals when they travel abroad, as well along with what it takes to be a diplomat, how it comes about. And as such, because of the visa thing that's been going on with Harry, and the fact that the government's response is, among other stupid things, one of them is that they don't disclose Harry's information because he can be an agent, he can be a witness, or, you know, which is insane. First of all, that would imply that Harry's a spy or working for the U.S. government in some form of capacity as an agent, that he has sensitive information to provide. Is he spying on behalf of the U.S. government in the U.K.? Is this something that Parliament and the U.K. government should take seriously? Because they use that as the response for not disclosing the documents needed. Okay? Now, we're going to get into this. Now, also, they claim diplomatic immunity. Now, for those of you, I always find it for you guys to know what diplomatic immunity is. Let me tell you, this is based on the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Immunity of April 1961, I believe. Because once you understand what this is about, then you'll understand that if Harry is in the United States as a diplomat, it has far-reaching implications as to why this shouldn't be. And the people from the United States and the people from the United Kingdom should be calling out. This is a serious breach. And also The Hague. This is an international treaty, okay? Why do I say that? Because that would mean that the UK and the US are violating a very, very serious international treaty that could have far-reaching consequences, and which could have the US and the UK removed from the treaty, all just to help an idiot like Harry. Okay? Let me tell you a little bit who can be a diplomat. Okay? And according to the convention, I'll read you straight from the convention. An ambassador and other heads of the mission of equivalent rank who are accredited. And I want you to keep this word in mind, accredited, because this is the most important part of the convention. I know what you're going to say. No, it's the fact that they're immune to things. No, it's the accredited part. And I'll tell you why in a second, if you just bear with me, because then this whole thing will make sense and you'll understand what this is about and how serious this is about. These issues are accredited to the host, heads of state, envoys, extraordinary ministers, plenipotentiary, and other representatives who are accredited to the host, heads of state. Okay, and 3, charge d'affaires, who are accredited to the foreign minister of the host country. Okay, the host country, in this case for Harry, would be the USA. Okay, that's the host country because they're hosting him while he's there. Now, the word accredited is very important because it's a long procedure. It's not just like that. The way somebody becomes a diplomat and you get a special passport, which none, and I repeat this, none of the royals worldwide have a diplomatic passport, nor do they have diplomatic immunity. I will repeat this again because I've been saying this for a long, long time. No royal worldwide has diplomatic immunity nor a diplomatic passport. The sovereigns or the monarchs have what's called sovereign immunity, and they don't require passports because usually passports are issued in their name. It's just like the Queen. She never traveled with a passport. You know, the Queen Elizabeth or now Charles. But other than the sovereign, not even the spouse does not enjoy sovereign. Well, I don't know if Camilla does now, but all royal, no royal on earth has diplomatic immunity. They don't have a diplomatic passport. I have held them. I have actually done stuff when they come on visits for royals. So I know what I'm talking about. What they do have is they have in their job description, Prince of the Realm or Duke of the Realm. For example, Harry would have in his passport all his names. And then back then he would have had Prince of the United Kingdom. That's literally his title description. His job description on the passport. And yes, embassies are involved whenever they travel, whether for official duties or even personal. We're supposed to arrange some form of security liaise with the host country and them. But no royal has diplomatic passport nor diplomatic immunity. How does a person become accredited? Accredited means approved. It's approved. You go with your credentials are valid. They have been approved by your host country. In this instance, it would be the United States for Harry. It's a long process. The way it happens is the country sending the diplomat, they would send a letter with the diplomats with the proposed diplomat's CV. The host country would review it and approve or not approve. And believe it or not, many CVs get rejected. It's not, we propose this guy. No. Many times that person is not approved and they have to send other CVs, other proposals. Once that person, the credentials of that person have been approved, then the process starts. Then it's like, we're going to send you this, we're going to send you that. Then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the host countries, both ministries of foreign affairs are involved. The passports are issued, they have to get a number, the license plates, everything. It's a whole process, okay? And then once the person comes into the country, even though they come with a diplomatic passport, they're still not accredited officially until the White House. They go to the White House or for example, in the United Kingdom, they meet the Queen. You remember when the Queen hosts these things that ambassadors come and present the credentials to the Queen? There's a legal reason for that, because the credentials are not valid until the president, prime minister, or monarch receives them. So that means it's a very complicated process. And the reason for that is because the immunity. Because the immunity they get. They're immune to prosecution from any crimes, except if the country of origin waives that immunity and say, yes, this asshole can be prosecuted in the host country. Okay, so for that to have happened, for Harry to have a diplomatic passport, it would mean, and it's not the monarch who issues the diplomatic passport. It's not. It's the government, UK Parliament, who would have had to handle that. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the United Kingdom would have had to send a letter to the Biden administration or the Trump administration, because it was Trump at that time, and say, you know what, this guy, we want him to be a diplomat. And they wouldn't be able to live in Los Angeles, in Montecito, California. They would have to reside in Washington, D.C., where all diplomats are based, okay? At the most, they could have a consulate in California, but that doesn't give him diplomatic immunity. And he's not an official consul for the United Kingdom in the United States. So, but this would mean that UK Parliament has gone against every clause in the Vienna Convention, which is an incredibly serious treaty. And the consequences could be that the UK and the US can be removed from that, which means that they could not have diplomats worldwide or in any of the countries that are signed up to that treaty, which is pretty much all the countries in the world. So this is what we're dealing with. So for people who are going on about him being a diplomat, and I'm even surprised that the response of the government to the Heritage Foundation implies diplomatic immunity, because either the people who wrote that answer are imbeciles or are throwing diplomatic immunity right, left, and center just to scare everybody off, just like my ex-husband did when he was trying to accuse me of things. In order to have an advantage, he used his diplomatic passport in the trials. Okay? Now, why am I mentioning my ex-husband in a trial and diplomatic passport? It's because Norway illegally, because my ex-husband used a diplomatic passport. Because another thing that you should know, you're only a diplomat when you're abroad representing your country stationed somewhere. So while you're in Norway, you're a regular person with you can never be a diplomat in your own country because you do not enjoy immunity. So you have an ordinary passport. It's only when you travel abroad that they issue you that passport. My ex-husband at the time was not a diplomat. He was not accredited anywhere. Remember that word, accredited? He was not accredited anywhere, which means his credentials as a diplomat were nowhere in the world recognized. Yet the Norwegian government, who unfortunately, in my experience, is one of the most corrupt governments in the world, the most racist, corrupt country in the world, and they hide behind this, oh, human rights, you know, where this and that. No, don't buy the BS. They're not. And I have proof of it, which is the worst part of it all. I will post the letter from the Norwegian ambassador at the time that I received as an official complaint of mine, because my ex-husband was using a diplomatic passport in trials when he wasn't even a diplomat. And only the government can issue it. So if this is in Norway, because, you know, Norway is not as important or as well known as the United States, actually they broke a convention, a treaty, because that is a huge violation of a human rights thing. And all because I am not a real Norwegian. And they needed to protect their Norwegian guy. You know what? I actually will post that letter at the end of this video. I will post the letter at the end of the video. I'll look for it and I'll post the letter at the end of the video. So you will read that the answer from the Norwegian government to my complaint that why is Alf using a diplomatic passport when he's not a diplomat, their answer is that, you know what? They're very careful how they write. Basically, that their obligation is to their employee. Not to protect the human rights of a woman and a child. No, it's to their employee, their very white employee. But anyway, I digress. The point I'm trying to make is that governments can be corrupt. Very well, Harry could have a diplomatic passport when he doesn't deserve to have one, because that means that the United Kingdom does not take this Vienna Convention seriously. But they won't go as far as granting him diplomatic immunity. But they will grant him the diplomatic passport without the diplomatic immunity, you know, just like they did to my ex, which is a serious violation if that is what's happening here. Now, the second thing is that Harry is a government agent because they claim that he's an agent of the U.S. government who's giving them sensitive information and could be in danger by basically issuing or showing his comings and goings, which would mean that Harry, a British citizen, is working for an American government, which basically would disqualify him from ever holding a title. Because as a prince of the United Kingdom, he cannot be working for a foreign government. That is an automatic no. That's treason, because his allegiance is pledged to the monarch. He went to the coronation, he pledged his allegiance to the monarch of the United Kingdom. So if he's working for the US, that is treason. Harry's guilty of treason if that is the case. Are we understanding this? Unless he's a spy for the United Kingdom. And if it's a spy for the US, it's treason. So those reasons that they're giving, they don't mesh. Now, the government now has gone and given partial information. They can't do that. They can't say, oh yes, we have it and we can tell you that he's coming and going, but we're not going to give it to you. No, because their initial response was, we're not going to give you anything. You can't just choose and say, we have these days, but we're not going to give it to you. Their denial should be complete, because once you open the gates, once you give an inch, you have to give a mile, pretty much. You can't say we have this and that, because before they said they had no records whatsoever. They could not clarify. But now they're saying, oh, well, yeah, we kind of have some records, but now. That's not the way this cookie crumbles. And this is all at the doorsteps of Biden meeting the new monarch, King Charles. So are they working together? Is this a special favor of the Bidens? Because let's not forget, as much as I adore Catherine, let's not forget how chummy she is with Jill Biden, who in my very humble opinion is a complete crook. It has nothing to do with politics. Is like, I call out everybody. So it is actually questionable how chummy Catherine is with Jill Biden. Is it because the Bidens are doing this favor to the royal family? I mean, what do you guys think? Because now that you know how diplomats are done, and I know I summarized it very short, but it's months. It takes months. So let's not forget that Harry took off and surprised the entire royal family. So they didn't have time to send that and that, but to print a passport, a diplomatic passport, and send it over. But the thing is that even if that person travels with a diplomatic passport, whenever you go through customs and they run that passport, it has to show that they are accredited in that country, because, disclaimer, they can only use the diplomatic passport in the country that's hosting them. They cannot travel when they travel on vacation or elsewhere. They cannot travel with a diplomatic passport. They have to travel with their ordinary passport. So yes, you can only use your diplomatic passport and your diplomatic credentials in the host country. If you're traveling outside of the US, you cannot travel for leisure or other personal things. You cannot travel with your diplomatic passport at all. Only your ordinary passport, because the immunity only applies to the host country. I hope I made that clear. As promised, this is the letter that I received from the Norwegian government in response to me complaining about my ex using a diplomatic passport in a civil trial where he was not even a diplomat. This is to show you that governments can be corrupt, and that you have to be, mindful of that. That the United Kingdom could have well issued a diplomatic passport to Harry just for the sake of it, without the immunities attached to it. Because when I confronted them with that, you will see that's what they responded. And here you will see the email that I sent and their response. They're very sneaky, but they did issue him the diplomatic passport because he submitted that in the trial. This is one of my favorite places on earth, guys. I love it so much. All the surfers over there. This is called Magnific Rock. I love it. I love it here. The owner, of course, is an Australian, Jackson, who I love. See all the people there? I just wanted to show you a little bit of Nicaragua. City,